Shrishti, and if you look at the markets, yes, we are holding on to the positive territory, but it's been a range-bound trading session. If you look at the way how the markets have been trading since the word go, if you talk about the advanced decline ratio, for now it's tilted a tad bit in the favor of the gainers. Talking about Nifty Bank, that's underperforming the benchmark indices a tad bit. No doubt it is in the positive territory, but the gains are not as equivalent to what the benchmark indices are posting at this point in time. Talking about the list of gainers, then on the Nifty right now, you have Adani Enterprises, that's the top gainer on the Nifty, followed by Hindalco, SBI Life, HDFC Life, as well as JSW Steel are the ones that are seeing good strength in today's trading session. On the flip side is Coal India, that's the top loser on the Nifty, but you need to keep in mind that today Coal India goes ex-dividend, so that's one of the reasons why you will see that sort of a sharp reaction on that particular counter. You have ONGC that's down about over 3%. You have NTPC, Britannia among the other set of losers in trade today. Talking about sectoral indices and what are the broader markets doing at this point in time, both of them are hit a fresh record high levels in today's trading session, be it the Midcap 100 index as well as the Small Cap 100 index. Both of them hit a record high levels in today's trading session. From there on, they've actually given up all of those gains, at least for the Small Cap index, right now towards the day's lowest point. Talking about the sectoral indices then, you have the metal index that's bucking the trend, 1.6% uptick coming for the metal index. Realty index is also seeing good gains at this point in time, while on the flip side is the PSE sector, that is the PSU sector as a whole is seeing some sort of a downtake. PSU Bank also seeing some sort of a downtake, as well as FMCG index. But one of the segments that you need to focus on definitely has to be the IT index, isn't it, Shrishti? Not so much so of the large cap IT, but the mid cap IT, isn't it?
Well, yes, a lot of names have shown great moves, Cheryl, from the likes of KPIT, Persistent. In the month of November, they have shown great moves, and in the month of November itself, we have all eyes on Tata Tech IPO as well. So what's panning out for the mid-cap IT space? What are the triggers and how are the valuations stacking up right now? Let's decode all of that for our viewers, and for this, we are being joined by Anisha. So Anisha, tell us, what are the triggers for the rally in the mid-cap that we are seeing?
Yeah, sure. You know, the mid-cap IT has been rallying quite a bit, and one of the reasons for it is that the earnings have been better than the large cap companies. To add to that, you have this entire niche ER&D segment which has been doing well. Rupee depreciation is something which is also helping its cause, and across the globe we have seen rally in the technology stocks, case in point being Nasdaq, which has been at a 22-month high, and all of these factors are actually aiding the momentum when it comes to the mid-cap IT space in India. But talking specifically about earnings, the commentary was a lot better from the mid-cap IT arena versus the large-cap IT. We have seen Wipro suggesting probably a decline in the coming quarter. We have seen a guidance downgrade coming in from HCL Tech. Infosys also came out with a guidance downgrade. However, if you look at the mid-cap arena, KPIT Tech actually reported an uptick when it comes to their guidance. In fact, from 27% growth in FY24, they're now talking about 37% plus kind of growth. And bulk of this is actually organic, and that is telling you that there is momentum in select pockets. KPIT, of course, has a lot of exposure towards the auto industry, which has continued its spend, and that's the reason we are seeing a very different and distinctive move for KPIT Tech, which is up 30% this month itself versus the rest of the IT peers as well. Coforge also has talked about maintaining their guidance. They're talking about the second half of the year being better. Tata Elxsi, for instance, said that there are a lot of levers available for them to grow going forward, plus margins is something that should be better for them. And we heard similar commentary coming from the likes of Zensar, etc. as well. So there is that distinct earnings growth for the mid-cap IT versus large-cap IT. They're also into niche arenas. So Science, for instance, has the exposure to the aerospace vertical. There are other companies as well like LTTS, which are doing tie-ups with NVIDIA, which is as it is seeing a big run-up in terms of their stock prices as well as their business fundamentals. So all of these is coming at play. Also, you have to look at the fact that rupee, of course, has depreciated, and that is adding as one of the fillip as well. And also the fact that Tata Tech IPO is coming, and that is leading to a bit of fresh interest from a lot of investors, because of course this is coming as one of the first Tata IPOs in the last 20 years, almost 18 years. So as it is, the interest is high and it's having a rub-off impact. Even companies like Persistent, etc. have managed to keep a better growth rate than rest of the peers, but one needs to be watchful of the valuations. They are not cheap by any standards. The valuations still remain very punchy. For KPIT Tech, they continue to be around 50-60 times. Tata Elxsi is around 60-70 times. Rest of the IT peers also. So valuation is not a comfort at all, but now the focus has shifted to FY25 and what kind of growth rates we are expecting there, and that's why perhaps this move.
All right, thank you so much for that, Anisha, for putting into context what's actually working for the mid-cap IT space, why such an outperformance coming in from the entire space as well. However, no doubt, our IT index today is trading a tad bit lower, near the day's lowest point. Even the likes of KPIT Tech, which has been winner for the most part of November, for the month of November, today is seeing a downtick as much as 5%. But leaving aside a single day movement, what should you do when it comes to investing in the mid-cap IT space? If you're already invested in, then what should you do with your investment in the space? We have Rajesh Agarwal as well as Kunal, both are joining us on the show. Very good morning to both of you. And Rajesh, let me come first to you. You had Anisha that summarized the entire triggers that's actually working in the favor of the mid-cap IT space. According to you, do you think these triggers will sustain going ahead? And mid-cap IT space is a space that you need to be invested in when it comes to the entire larger IT space altogether?
Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, Kunal. You said it right, and I'm sure it's correct. Things are very good in the IT space, and it has been outperformer of late. Surprisingly, I would say when everybody was bearish, IT index gained about 13% this year, while Nifty gained 9%. And this is a phenomenal outperformance, I would say, when there were everywhere there was like pessimism about this. Going forward, we think with the kind of expectation that Fed is over with its rate cut or inflation going down, yields going down, we think IT is going to outperform, not only because of these, but because of the decent numbers which it gave in Q2, and not to forget the kind of deal wins it have. Yes, we believe that IT is going to outperform, but as far as midcap is concerned, we are bullish on very few names in this, like Persistent System, Intellect Design, Coforge, or an Emphasis. And whereas in the large cap, we would prefer going with obviously Infosys and TCS. We are bullish on this, but with the kind of run-up it have seen in the recent past, I would suggest some cool off before somebody investing a new money into this.
Okay, so that's the take on the IT space. In depth, you can go ahead with a strategy to buy, and some of the stock recommendations by Rajesh are Persistent, Emphasis, Intellect Design, TCS, and Infosys. But Kunal, coming to you on technicals, because all these mid-cap ITs have already shown great moves in the month of November, I beg your pardon. But going ahead, do you believe that there's more leg to this rally, or is this a time rather to make a switch to the large-cap IT names?
Good morning, first of all. So I think it's two-pronged. I think many of the mid-cap IT names. So when we look at few specific pockets, the likes of KPIT Tech, Persistent, Birlasoft, these stocks have managed to perform very well. I don't expect that the momentum for these stocks would fade out anytime soon, because if we talk of the IT sector getting into a revival phase, then I believe that the markets have identified leaders in terms of price performance, and these leaders would always charge premium for with respect to many of the other peers, and they would continue to do that. So my belief is that many of these stocks would continue to move up higher. Yes, the returns, what these stocks have garnered over the last 6 months to 12 months approximately from their September 2022 lows, that may not be something which we may expect in the immediate term. Nevertheless, I think the direction seems to be set on the upside for many of these mid-cap IT names.